Good morning everyone, my name is Adi and I'm the founder of PTE Master. Are you tired of taking the PTE exam over and over again and keep failing and doesn't know the reason why? Now this is the reason why I created this YouTube channel. I've been quite busy in the past so I couldn't make any video. So in today's topic, I'm gonna do two topics. So the first one, I'm gonna show you the minimal, the most basic technique that you should do to pass the PTE speaking. And the second part, I want to introduce to you the ultimate platform that you all should know, and you will be surprised with what you will get in the end of this video. So make sure you watch it until the end. Now let's jump right onto it. Let's do mock test C from ptepractice.com, which is the official mock test of Pearson. You're about to witness the most brutal techniques of PTE no one has shown you before. Let's jump right into it. Let's get started. So we're gonna start our first mock test. Please keep in mind that I'm just gonna do speaking part only, and I will show you other section later on my next few video. Okay, so let's go through to it. Going through a few check. Okay, so this is read aloud. This is the first section in a real PTE exam. So in this task, you are required to read the paragraph, and you have to be very clear with your pronunciation. Now, your fluency is one of the most important thing and will be the thing that will determine your score. So make sure that at all time you have to keep your fluency. Okay, so you got 35 seconds and it start counting down like that. I'm just gonna quickly have a good read of the sentence before we start. The main difference in this occasion was that the colonel was not just fighting against a king who was determined to use his own prerogative. The main difference on this occasion was that the colonists were not just fighting against a king who was determined to use his own prerogative. They were also fighting against a parliament which believed that it and it alone should raise taxes and control revenues. Right would have been won in the previous century. Next. Now be mindful that you have to click next straight away after you finish the read aloud. The reason is if you don't click next, the microphone should stop after 3 seconds. But if it doesn't stop, then you're in big trouble. The reason is because if you're in a room with 10 more people, and if their voice jump into the microphone, which means the microphone won't stop, and you might lose some point for fluency or pronunciation if all the voice are recorded onto your section. Okay, we're gonna start the next one. A scientist's evidence is thought to be reliable because it will have been tested and verified at every stage. This is not, of course, infallible, as scientists are subject to human error as much as the rest of us. And then click next. Okay, I accidentally say something to the microphone, but that shouldn't affect anything. Okay, so again, we should get about 6 questions like this in the real exam. And it's quite relaxing because I'm actually used to it now. I haven't done mock test C a lot, so I pretty much forgot everything about it anyway. But in the real exam, you should be really relaxed. Okay, you should be relaxed. So don't worry too much. If you have a certain word that you don't understand or don't know how to pronounce, feel free to skip it. But you have to do it very smooth. The most obvious change is that 46% of the college undergraduates are now women. When I went there, it was only the 3rd year that women had been admitted, and about 70% of students were male. Okay. So in the next one, what I would show you is that it's normal for some students to stutter, which means there are certain words that you don't know how to pronounce, and if you're trying too hard to pronounce it in that particular nanoseconds, you might lose point. So I'm going to show you how you can skip a sentence smoothly without losing any points. So for example, in this scenario, I'm going to show you that I'm going to skip bombarded. I'm going to skip bombarded, and maybe I'm going to skip images, maybe if I remember. Otherwise, let's see how it goes. As we progress into the 21st century, communications are becoming faster and faster. Think of the millions of different media images you are with every day. It's as important now to be able to read and make sense of those as it has been to be able to read ordinary text. So you're just gonna skip it like nothing has ever happened. Okay, so you have to make sure you have a good mentality. Don't worry too much if you stutter. Don't feel bad, just keep moving on, because again, in the next few video, I'll explain to you why you still can get 90 even if you make a lot of mistakes. Now I'm just gonna quickly read this one. I think I talk a lot, sorry guys. Now in the past, what have led to inflation? Okay. In the past, wars have led to inflation and higher commodity prices. Fighting disrupt trade and prevent raw materials from being shipped from one country to another. In Second World War Britain, a banana was the height of a luxury. And if you accidentally say any redundant word, you don't actually lose any points, so don't worry too much about it. And the most important ending sound is the S. All the ending sound can be, can be skipped from time to time, but the S is very important because it distinguishes the plural and the noun, which Pearson use in the technology, which is the speech to text. It will recognize a different text, so be careful with the S. Okay, so we're going to start the next one. Globalization refers to a set of changes rather than a single change. Many of these changes are social, cultural, and political rather than purely economic. And one of the main drivers in addition to the global marketplace is the communication revolution. Next. Okay, I'm going to do a repeat sentence.
An understanding of mathematics is vital for most science subjects.
An understanding of mathematics is vital for all science subjects. Next.
If we work on this together, we'll get through it quickly.
If we work on this together, we'll get through it quickly.
The new law professor used to work for the World Bank.
The new law professor used to work for the World Bank.
Many environment experts are very concerned about the future of our planet.
Many of the environmental experts are very concerned about the future of our planet.
The graph shows the percentage of people who smoke according to gender.
The graph shows the percentage of people who are smokers according to gender.
The meeting is always on the third Wednesday of the month.
The meeting was always the third Wednesday of the month.
We can go anywhere, do anything, achieve any height.
You can go anywhere, do anything, achieve any height.
Construction of the Empire State Building in New York was completed in 1931.
Construction of the Empire Building in New York was completed in 1981.
People under 70 have a higher quality of life than those over 70.
People who's under 70 have a higher quality of life than those who are over 70.
The area of Canada is more than 3.8 million square miles.
The area in Canada was more than 3.8 trillion square mile. Okay, so in repeat sentence, the fluency is also very important. So if there's certain word that you don't know how to pronounce, try to repeat 50% of the sentence because you will at least get 50%, which is 2 points out of 3 for the content. And again, in the next few videos, I'll explain how it's scored so that you can understand it a lot better. Now, in describe image, let's move on to it. The graph below shows the road traffic in Great Britain. From the graph, we can see provide information about 1952 to 2005. Furthermore, we can also see cars and taxi. Furthermore, we can also see the all motor vehicles. In addition, we can see the billion vehicle kilometer, and we can also see the highest point is 400 and 500, and the lowest point is 100 to 200. Well, in conclusion, it's very interesting graph because they also show the information between different years, like 1960, 1976, and 1984. Now we can see that I'm purposely just listing the information now. I don't even compare it because that's not what you need to do, because the way they mark in this section is keyword only. The content equal keywords, which means don't paraphrase anything. Just repeat the keyword, make sure it's clear, and you must have a very simple template for you to keep the fluency. Okay, so and then you just need to input the keywords in. The graph below shows the Economic and Social Research Council Figure 1 in UK unemployment rate 1971 to 2006. From the graph we can see it shows information between years 1971 to 2001 and 2005. Furthermore, we can also see the percentage fluctuate from 4% with the highest to 12% to 6% or 8%. In conclusion, as you can see, the graph is very interesting because it shows the UK unemployment rate in 1971 to 2006. Yeah, where did I stop before? So yes, you need to have a very simple template. The grammar is not important, the meaning is not really important as well, but the content, which is the keyword, content here is keyword. Don't misunderstand content as something that you have to say, academically. It's just a keyword in the actual image, like this one. I'm gonna try it again. The graph below shows the sales by quarter. From the graph, we can see provided information in the year 2004. Furthermore, we can see product Z, product Y, and product X. In addition, we can also see quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, and quarter 4. And we can see the highest point at 12,000. In conclusion, as you can see, the graph is very interesting because they provide the information about the highest point. Sorry, I make a wrong mistake. It should be 15,000, and the lowest point is 3,000. As you can see, I even make a joke there because it doesn't lose any. It doesn't, cost me any point again because they only scan for the keyword and they're just gonna check your fluency whether you're fluent or not. So don't worry too much if you make any mistake. And even if you set the wrong numbers, it should be the highest, but you accidentally set the lowest, you still get full points. So don't worry about it. Okay, now let's move on to the next one. The graph below shows the life expectancy at birth in Australia. From the graph, you can see it shows the information between males and females. Furthermore, we can also see the different years like 1995 to 2005 and 70 years old to 85 years old. Furthermore, we can also see the female is about 80 years old and the male is about 85 years old. In conclusion, as you can see, the graph is very interesting because they provide the information about the life expectancy at birth in Australia by years. Now you can see that when I actually say, I don't make up any numbers, I don't make up any sentence because I don't need to. I just need to say the exact word that they put in. For example, sometimes a graph might have a fluctuation in number. Don't say the variant, just say the exact number that you see on the graph because that's the keyword. Anyhow, let's move on to the next one. And this is the keyword as well, so just make sure when I say graph, you say graph. The graph below shows the adult literacy by region. From the graph, you can see it provides information in the literacy rate by sex in 2000 and 2004. Furthermore, we can also see the information about female and male, the world, Asia, Arab states, and the Sub-Saharan African, Latin American, and the Caribbean. Furthermore, we can also see the highest point is 91 and the lowest point is 53. In conclusion, as you can see, the graph is very interesting because they've provided information about the adult literacy by region in 2000 and 2004. Done. Okay. And again, in the exam, they will always tell you what kind of graph, table, images that they show you in the re-exam. So don't worry too much, don't think too much. Just basically carefully check what kind of graph or table they gave you and just make sure you mention that in your speech. Okay, so economic conditions. The graph below shows the economic conditions in the Philippines in 2000 and 2004. From the graph, we can see the consumer price index and the GDP. Furthermore, we can also see the year 2000 and 2004, which I have repeated before. Furthermore, we can also see the highest point is 120, while the lowest point is 100. In conclusion, as you can see, the graph is very interesting because they provide the information between the consumer price index and the GDP in the Philippines in 2000 and 2004. Now,
Take the coffee industry. The figures are roughly these. The coffee market in the world is worth about 60 billion. The growers get about 5.5 billion. 10 years ago, the market was about 30 billion, and the growers got a third of that. What has happened? What has happened is that well-meaning people, Americans, Germans, Europeans, decided that they would help Vietnam. And so, they created a coffee industry there, which is now the second biggest producer in the world. This has had serious effects on other countries like Colombia that depend on coffee exports.
Okay, so what happens there is usually in this partner exam you're gonna have to write on a piece of paper, but I want to show you here. That's why I got a little bit mistake there. The lecture talks about a coffee export in Vietnam, which is a very interesting topic. From the lecture, he talks about the well-meaning people and how the German will help Vietnam to create a coffee industry in Vietnam. Furthermore, they also talks about the second biggest producer in the world, which can affect Colombia. Furthermore, they also talks about a coffee export in Vietnam, because you can keep repeating the real exam so that they can have the right keyword. In conclusion, as you can see, the lecture is very interesting because they provide information about the coffee export in Vietnam. I make a lot of mistakes, you can see there, but see how I score.
You can see that the two charts each give quite a different picture of the performance of boys and girls in the two key subjects of maths and English. It shows that in English, girls consistently outperform boys over a period of 6 years, achieving scores about 10% above their male peers. There is quite a different picture when we look at the maths results, with no real difference between genders in the results. What is the explanation for these key differences? To answer this question, researchers look at biological and cognitive factors and a range of social factors. The interaction between these different components in early childhood development are seen as maintained and reinforced in the school context, and this leads to distinct gender patterns of behavior in skills with direct consequences for school performance and achievement. The argument uses this evidence to show that biological factors, such as patterns of cognitive development, are closely linked to social factors, such as learned gender categories. These cognitive skills are learned both preschool and subsequently at school, supported by the responses of teachers, creating a reinforcement of patterns.
Okay, now you can see that I just type anything I can hear, even if it doesn't make sense. You don't have to create a sentence. I'll show you the basic one, how to get 90 with this note. The lecture talks about a different picture between boys and girls. From the picture, we can see it provides information. The English girl outperformed boys over a period of 6 years, and quite a different picture of math results. Furthermore, it also talks about no difference between gender in the result. Furthermore, we can see the explanation for the key difference. In addition, we can also hear the look at biological and cognitive factor to maintain reinforce the school contact, which lead to improve in school performance. In conclusion, it's also mentioned about a closely linked to social factor. These cognitive skills learned in preschool. Now, as you can see, I didn't make any sentence. I just want to make it the basic as possible.
In our survey, over 100 CEOs who had recently been through an acquisition or merger were asked which areas of their activities needed the most effort. As you can see, the most frequent response to this question was that information technology requires the most integration effort. According to 58% of those we surveyed, IT was the most time-consuming and needed the most work. This is understandable, as many of the IT issues are extremely complex, and the consequences of any change in IT can have a significant impact. The key is how quickly and effectively IT integration can be achieved, and there has to be a clear understanding of the consequences there may be of not getting it right. The two other areas requiring significant attention, sales, marketing and business development on the one hand, and financial management on the other, both were selected by 49% of the respondents.
Okay. So again, that was the 10 second that they give you in the exam. Just use that one to make sure you can read your own writing. Don't think too much. The lecture talks about over 100 CEO acquisition or mergers. Furthermore, it also talks about the area that need the most effort and the most frequent responder information technology require the most time. Furthermore, it also talks about survey in IT was the most time consuming, need the most work. Furthermore, they also talk that it can have a significant impact, and a clear understanding of the consequences of not getting it hard is crucial. In conclusion, they also talk about the 2 areas that need to focus on are sales, business development, including financial management, which are responded by 49% of the respondents. Okay, next one.
Which country has the 3rd largest population in the UK?
Okay. England. England. You can repeat twice in this question.
Camels are most likely to be found in what habitat?
Tropical habitat.
On a compass, which direction is the direct opposite of southwest?
Northeast. Northeast.
What do most successful businesses aim to do? Make a profit, declare bankruptcy, or comply with audits?
Make a profit.
What is it called when the price of goods and services steadily increases over a period of time?
Inflation. Inflation.
What mistake has the student made when trying to access the site?
Invalid password. Invalid password.
Algebra, calculus, and trigonometry are divisions of which academic field?
Mathematic.
What campus building would you go to if you wanted to borrow a book or magazine?
Library. Library.
Is a profit a loss in funds or a gain in funds?
A gain in fund. A gain in fund.
What energy source does this light bulb need in order to function?
Electricity. Electricity or electric. Okay, so I'm done with it. So I'm not gonna do this part. I'm gonna reserve it for the next video. Now I'm gonna quickly skip to the last one. So open the results. Honestly, I'm quite nervous as well. As you can see, I did a lot of mock tests because I want to make sure that I know what I'm talking about. Okay, so normally, yes, you got 19. Now, normally I got 19 pronunciation, but this time the reason is because I wasn't very focusing on the re-exam. Now, so the purpose of this video is not to show you a perfect person with a perfect accent, with a perfect English, gonna do a perfect score. Now I'm gonna show you a normal person like myself. I used to be an international student as well. A normal person who is very relaxing in the re-exam can get this score. Now, if I were a bit more focused in not joking around, what do you think my score would be? Well, it's still be 90 anyway, but definitely this will look a bit nicer. Okay, and you also notice that in retail lecture, in the first question, the one about the coffee export something, I was missing a few points because I tried to open Microsoft Word to show you my note, and it was a little bit delayed. That's why I missed quite a few points in the beginning. Hence, I didn't get very high point for listening as well. Usually, I get about 42 or 41 for this section. Okay, so alright, so that's for speaking. As you can see, despite the fact that I have made a lot of mistakes, I still managed to get PTE speaking 90, which is amazing. Now, if we want to put a bit more effort, a bit more concentration into the real exam, it's quite easy to even get 90 pronunciation. Moving on to the next topic, which is the one that I have promised to show you before. PTE Master team have developed a systematic testing, an automated scoring platform that will give you an instant result 100% similar to your real exam. We have launched a platform for the past 2 weeks, and we have got 600 students and 600 mock have been done on the platform. Most of them, 90% of them, confirm that the mock test results are so similar to the Pearson mock test or even the real exam. Now, the mock tests are located at masterpt.com.au. All prices are available in US AUD, so it's a lot cheaper than the Pearson one. On the platform, you also have all of the free practice material, which are real exam questions updated September 2018, which means if you practice on these one, you have a very high chance of getting the same questions again in the real exam. Now that's it for today's video, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that I add a bit of value to you, to your study. If you have any particular topic you want me to cover, do drop a comment below as well, and remember to subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much guys. We're looking forward to see you next time.